Am I audible? Yeah. So, before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together. So, please be respectful of other people's views, understanding the differences, being kind, and considerate the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. Over to the speaker to begin the session.
Cool. So welcome all, and this is Ashish, a developer advocate from Elastic, doing the community events, meetups, conferences, BBLs, and handling the developer relations. So first of all, I welcome you all, and welcome to the virtual attendees. So we having three tracks today, dynamic tracks. I think first one is going by the Mukaram. It's he's going to cover the hackathon. He had experience in a very he's the expert in a hackathon, and he's going to explain how he used the Elasticsearch in that. If and I'll show you the quick demo if time permits. So it will be like how you search on a Google, so how you can achieve those features like this. And the third is, I think, our very own Vivek sir from Microsoft. So he's going to cover the Elastic APM. So feel free to ask anything, any question. Make it interactive. It should be two-way. Okay. So I'll invite, I think, Mukaram to just take over the stage, and yeah, you can start with the session. Advocates are there who are happy to assist you, answer your questions. YouTube link is there. This session also we are recording, and we have a past session as well. You can go and explore about the different topics, how you can use the Elasticsearch and the Elastic stacks. And we have a different user group as well. So we have a group for Bangalore specific. So you can just subscribe, and if we have any meetups in a Bangalore, you will get notified. So we are trying to start the meetup thread in a Bangalore after the pandemic. So we will try to do in a once in a 2 month like this. We have a technical forums, discuss.elastic.co, where yes, you can ask anything about the Elastic Stack, how to get started. And already there is a lots of resource available. Official Elastic website documentation is available. You can just it's a good start point. We having a contributor program as well. So anyone is willing to contribute in an Elastic Stack, or maybe, and contribution is a terms of like you want to answer on a Stack Overflow or any kind of contribution. You can just join this program and you will get the rewarded and the recognition from Elastic. So yeah, we are giving this cloud trial. You can just go to this link and register with a sign up with your account and get started with the cloud trial. And if you want to extend the trial, just please let me know. My DMs are open. If you have any doubts, any queries, let me know so we can raise the trial period on a request basis. So it will be a 14 days trial. I think where you can just explore all the observability, security, and search specific things.
Ashish, are you also giving them internship on Elastic?
So definitely we'll let you know when we have such positions. Okay, I think I already talked about the speakers. So we having these tracks today. So over to Mukaram now, guys. Mukaram, thanks.
Hey, good morning, guys. I would need that to see if there are any questions.
So I was thinking I'll just okay.
Cool. So I don't know. This has been like after 2 years after the pandemic. This is like the first in-person one that I'm doing. And yeah, so I wanted to keep it like a very vague topic, and based on the audience and based on how it goes, right? I'll make shifts on all of those factors. I have different. I don't have one particular way of doing this. So as we go along, right? As I get inputs from all of you guys, we are actually going to change based on our flows. So how do you win a hackathon and how do you do it with Elastic? So the picture there is of 2017 where we won the best presentation at Singapore. So this was for Asia Incubation Program. So in brief, right? So I'll put a date on myself. So in 1995, right, I was actually doing something called logo. So I think that most of you wouldn't be aware what it is. So it was like a small turtle, and based on commands, right, it could go left, right, and make a small square and stuff. And this is this is an era where you had CRT screens and stuff. So just doing that was like considered okay. That is programming. Yeah, so other than this, what else have I done? I've like in the past 1.5, 2 years, right? I've done about 8 hackathons. I had done 7, and last week I did 8. I did Amazon Sunburb. I came top 8 in 36,000 entries. So the idea here is to basically take those some of the learnings from a hackathon, bring it here, and how does it help in your day job, right? Like Vivek just said, he doesn't actually use APMs in his day job, but he's basically trying things out. So the whole idea here is to basically try things out. So yeah, so I want to put a disclaimer also. These are like real world examples, right? So some of the hacks you're going to see lie in the gray area. So I would put in a note of caution there. Cool. So where do you guys go to get new ideas on technology, hackathons, on any of the things? Like any things that you follow, any handles that you look into, online and offline, guys? Like for example, if you have to go to a hackathon today, or you want to study technology, right? All of you want to basically make a career in technology. So how do you know what is the cutting edge, what is the bleeding edge? Are there any DMs, Insta? No?
Latest tweets, any Discord, right?
Okay, Discord.
Who,
Okay.
Who keep their hand on the pulse and so on.
Okay.
Keep in touch.
Any other places where you get newer information, like the bleeding edge of technology or something that is like curated?
Usually Kickstarters and so on. Whatever ideas
Okay.
come on the hackathon.
Okay, so I would want to introduce you to something called news.ycombinator.com. Okay, what is Y Combinator? It's like a startup that creates startups. Okay, so this page, right, is what I read every morning. I don't read a newspaper. I read this. So what this is basically whatever is the top news in the world, right? And this is curated because people upvote things and people downvote things. And whatever you read here is like pure magic. And from here, right, things get picked up to other numerous places, but this is like the place that I usually read about what is the newest in tech. So this is something that you need to like, even if you're building a college project, you're in your company, you're doing some job, you need to really understand that what is the bleeding edge is like. For example, like in 2019 we were doing APM, right? That time it was pretty good, but now the industry observability as an industry has become a huge thing. So all this actually started from a Y Combinator post on Elastic APM. So this is like the pulse that I follow. If anyone has some other channels or something that they look into, happy to hear about that. Okay, so that is one part of the thing, right? The other part is design. So design is very subjective, and now with NFT coming up and a lot of things happening around NFT, right? Design has become very important. So the second pick for me would be Behance. So a lot of freelancer artists and UX designers and people from multiple different how do you say it, paths of life, right, put up their work on Behance. So if somebody says I plan to be a UX designer, right, you should have your designs shown to the world on Behance. It's like the GitHub for designers. Okay, and then it comes to search, right? In a hackathon, you need three things. You need an idea, you need a great design, and you need to be able to search like God. So the three things is what I'm going over today. One is Google, the other one is about what data you can get, what insights you can pull out, and what actions you can take. So for this entire DIA part, right, I have extensively used Elastic in all of my hackathons. Okay, so anyone worked on AR, VR sort of stuff? No? Okay. None from here also. Okay, cool. So Yeah, so you know that there are apps out there, even things like Asian Paints is doing this, where you can basically take a photo and make color changes accordingly, right? So these are again at the top of it, right? It doesn't look like a search problem, right? But I'll show you how it is. Okay, how search is very important for any hackathon, and how Elastic helps you with it. Any ideas? Anybody read about Elastic? How is it started? And no, cool. So, Elastic is all the way back from 2010. At the end of it, right? There is an open source Apache Lucene project on which Elastic is based upon. So, instead of explaining it to you what it basically does, I'll show you an example on IKEA. Oh, internet issues. So, you know IKEA, right? Everyone is aware of IKEA, right? Cool. So IKEA has been coming out with catalogs all the way from 1950, and this is their dump of all their catalogs. So what do you see here? You see a page and you see a year. So now what Elastic is very similar. Now the content of the thing, right, would be anything, but now you are able to search by a year. So I can go all the way till 1950 to current day 2021, and I can basically from that year open their book. This is exactly what Elastic would do. You basically have for the entire page, right? You have a year, and year is your entry point. So something to think about is this is how Elastic would do it. Search problems. So how many of you use Google Lens? Oh, cool. I thought it was like new. Great. So again, this is a search problem rather than an image problem, right? You're basically trying to match some of the things, match some of the attributes, and get back. So again, Google Lens is a search problem. Okay, now I have a fun activity for you. Okay, you've got a missed call, and you're not supposed to use Truecaller. You're supposed to figure out what is that number, who is that number belonging to. Any ideas on how you could do that? This was an actual idea that I came up with. You are not supposed to use Truecaller. How would you figure out the number? Sorry?
Call them back.
Call them back would be a very, or call them from your girlfriend's phone or somebody else's phone to get an idea. That is doable. Something else, something with technology that you can use to figure this one out.
There are a few online services that let you.
No, none of those taken. Truecaller is out of the picture. Okay, something else online. You are going to try to search that number, maybe Facebook, and try to figure out who's that number and stuff, right? Okay, good. So this is what I did. Okay, so you know that Truecaller isn't really good because they have leaks and they use your number to do something else. They'll actually sell your whole data to somebody else and make money. So this is what I did. So you know Google Pay, right? So what I just did is basically put that number into Google Pay and I figured out what is that guy's name. So yeah, this is one of those things that were like, oh God, this was the use of technology where it was not intended to be, but now everyone is on Google Pay and you can do this. So next time you have a problem of search, you can try that out. Okay. The other one, right? All of us do online shopping. So today we are going to exploit online shopping with a different way. So how do you know what is the price of something, right? So there are like companies built who tell you price history of a product. This becomes really important for companies, right? If you're a competitor, oh, I didn't give my intro at all. Okay, maybe at the end I'll give you my intro. So companies, right? They want to figure out what is the cost of a phone on Amazon today. Tomorrow in a sale, right? What is the price? How will you figure that out? So I did the same thing. What I learned from my day job I brought it into my life, and this is what I'm trying to do. I'm setting up a web crawler. So in your Elastic stack, right, you have a 14-day trial. You can go set this up for yourself, where we are looking at one particular product. So this is the product that I'm looking at. Okay, I'm looking at a water heater that is of 25-liter capacity. The cost on both Amazon and Flipkart is about 10K. So this is what I did. I actually set up a crawl to figure out the price during sales, and when it was at the lowest, right, I went and bought it. So the actual price was about 10K. I got it for about 4,800. So I got two for 10K. And all this was made possible because I was monitoring their page for the price change. As soon as there was a price change, I went and bought it at that point. So yeah, this is one of those things that I learned and I bought it and I made some hefty profit on. Okay, we have a next problem statement where we are trying to basically figure out some XYZ manufacturer. So now you know, right? Everyone wants to talk about make in India, make for India, and all kind of jargon. But the problem itself is pretty hard to, solve. So first you need to figure out what is that category you want to enter into, who are your competitors, lot of things, right? So any startup you want to do, I am taking an example of a cloth manufacturer who already manufactures clothes, doesn't know what is going to sell, what is the trending thing in India, or what is selling. So for this, right, even on a different note, all the way from 2017, right, Mintra has been using similar tech, AI backed tech, which is going to basically say, okay, A-line kurtas are selling more, so our design should incorporate A-line kurta, or this is the color selling more online. So this is the next challenge, right? You want to be a high profit making company, and you know infant clothes sell a lot. What how if you are a manufacturer, right, what would you think would be the way to come up with the best solution? So the challenge would be like, what are your thoughts, or what are your ideas? If today I asked you to tell me which is the best selling product on Amazon, how would you do that? Any ideas? Crawler is already taken, so no crawling. Okay, we'll go to Parth. Parth, tell me if today the shirt you're wearing is really nice, okay? How did you end up buying this shirt?
I just went to commercial street and I bought.
Okay, if we went to commercial street and bought, why did you choose the particular one? What was it that you liked about it?
I like the color.
Okay, you liked the color and you bought it. Okay, so that is one, right? So on a similar approach, right? My approach is also kind of similar to Parth's. So Amazon gives you something called a bestseller page. Okay, so you know what are the top 50 best-selling things in each category. So if I had to solve this problem for a customer and say, people like Parth are more interested in particular kind of clothes, I would end up figuring out what are the things that are top selling in that category. Men's shirts, top selling, and then I would come up with that. We'll look at all the designs there, and maybe you can using all of that data, you can generate a new one. Cool. That brings me to actual work on Elastic. So this is one of those ideas that I wanted to build, or I built and I did not succeed. This was about animal testing. Are you guys aware of what animal testing is? And this is going to be about more of chemistry. I don't know how many of you like chemistry? Okay, I don't like chemistry, to be very honest. But then the problem that I was trying to solve, right, needed chemistry. So the idea was that like we have a lot of new companies that are coming up that are basically talking about not doing animal testing, and still they are releasing products, right? So how do you know that the product is safe? Any ideas? Like they say that on the label, right? They say no animal testing is done. But how would you know that without even testing it on animals that a product is safe or not? And animal testing itself has its own problems, because you're not actually using a human trial, you're using animals there, right? There is no 100% match. So results that you get, right, and what it actually is can be different. So this was a very juicy problem that I thought of. I was like, damn, how can we solve this in a hackathon and maybe have it as a solution? Anyone? Any ideas how we can avoid this is again coming back to tech. Okay, thinking from a tech perspective, we want to basically be able to just with whatever chemicals you have, figure out is it safe for humans or not.
We have kind of like a direction like these are like really a product is fashion, maybe fashion, fashion. You can just research in the chemical activity in the website. You can just save that and any other chemicals related to that could be fascinating. And basically, depending on that, results you can actually
Yeah, actually you're very close, and that is what I actually wanted to build also. So that is exactly one of those websites that does that, right? So carbon black, for example, that is not actually used in household things, but it's one of those chemicals that is used, right? So we are basically trying to do the same thing, but then with a twist, right? So the idea for the hackathon was this: I basically take Google Lens, take an image of the product, and because Google Lens already allows you to take the text, right? Take the text out, move it into a chemical database. So that is what our idea also is for today. Okay, how many of you already visited the students? Basically, they visited this Elastic website. Anyone? No? Okay, cool. So the thing is here, right? It's pretty straightforward. So if you ask me, it'll hardly take you 10 minutes to set it up. So you can do two ways. One is you do a local setup. The other way is you basically use the cloud, for which Ashish has already given you a 14-day trial already. So I expect all of you to log in, try it out, and build something out of it. Okay, so this is what I did. Okay, so for this particular demo, right? So we can use two ways to do this. One of the ways is again web scraping, that web crawler that I talked about. Elastic offers a web crawler. Even it is, although it's still in beta, right, Ashish? It's still in beta, but I actually did try it out last night. So we can actually use two ways to do this. One of them would be to basically use your web crawler as a service and crawl the entire DB. The other way is there are already CSVs available with all the chemicals, and you can again run it in two ways. One is on local, and the other one is on the cloud. So this is what has been done. Okay, name me any chemicals. No, there is no this thing. Oh yeah, so this is what I did. Okay, so rather than just doing a very simple data upload and just doing some chemicals, I actually put in brands also. So I don't know how many of you are exposed to US markets. So there's a okay. You already know things like Mama Earth and stuff in India, right? That or Nykaa, for example. Nykaa is a much better example. So Nykaa sells makeup, right? So on a similar note, you have something called Sephora in the US. So what I have done here is I've basically taken a CSV from crawl data as well as from whatever is available on the internet, and I've dumped everything here. For example, Sephora, right? If I say brand name is Sephora, these are the different things that they are working on, and these are the different. And in US, right? They have to actually declare all the ingredients. In India, there is a loop there. So what they do is they say base elements and all that. So they basically avoid writing all the different things that are actually used in a particular product. But that doesn't apply to US. Hence, I've taken US data here. And then what I've done is I've segregated it brand wise. So my CSV would look something like this. So it's very simple. It's an Excel file to be make it to be made very simple, right? I've just taken an Excel file, and in Excel file you can actually see all of the things. I've already put in the company ID and company name and the brand name, and all of this is US data collected from both sources, collected from web crawl as well as from all whatever was available publicly. So I pulled all of that into Elastic. Now, what would you do with this, right? Now you just have data. Now you have to actually create some insights out of it. So what I did is one is on the brand name. So if I have to start a competitor for Sephora tomorrow, I can basically use what are the things that they are doing and do similar lines. It's like a R&D, receive and duplicate. Okay. The other way to look at it is look at each of the chemicals. Like somebody is very so you see this, right? It's already telling you because I've already searched that. So we are actually doing search based on our previous history. So this is what Elastic is known for. So any chemical you look into, you can go by all of these IDs. So these are all the IDs that I pushed in here in my CSV. On top we have different IDs, right? The same thing I pushed in here also. For example, I want to do Does anyone use hydrogen? Yeah, so this is part of product name itself is hydrogen. So like you saw here, we basically had data that we couldn't make any useful use of, whereas now we actually have dumped the data into Elastic, and with Kibana we'll be able to come up with different product lines. Cool. Any questions or any this thing? This is no. Okay. So this is what we did. So we took an example of carbon black. We are basically pumping it from Elastic, and we are basically displaying that how many products use this.
We have the online version.
Oh yeah. It's not a question, right? It's about human anatomy. Okay. This was actually something that I didn't want to go over, but yeah. Anyone has worked on WordPress? No? Okay. So this is where you can start for free. It's called Pantheon, where you can deploy a website for free. And in that website, right, you can actually get an Elastic. For example, you are building any e-commerce store, right? And you have a search capability requirement there. So you can actually put in an Elastic plugin and do that. Okay, so this is where I want to now get back to one of the previous hackathon that I just mentioned about. This was called Amazon Sambhav. Okay, so the idea here is to basically build ideas that can be implemented for India. So here my entry was again on a different this thing. It was on voice over UX. So we built an Alexa skill that basically if you talk to the skill, you can get your career counseling done just by answering a few set of questions. So this was the idea that I most recently built. And yeah, that is the end of the story for me. Any questions? I know I've gone like everywhere from chemicals to some hackathon to multiple things. But the idea here is to basically give you the end, this thing that I want all of you to go away with is first think of ideas from where you can get good ideas, right? And how you're going to implement those. And from whatever you saw, right? I've tried to take things that I've learned from one domain and try to apply it to the others. Cool. Any questions? Sure. Cool. Any questions offline? We're good.
Great. Thanks, Mukaram.
Guys, give us a couple of minutes. Just give us a couple of minutes. You are unmuting and
Hello.
getting that noise.
Yeah, actually, unmuted. Yeah.
Now you can hear?
You can. Perfect. So online attendees, please confirm if it's audible. Screen is not visible.
Can you do that?
Let me. When share tray. Desktop.
You did?
Yeah.
You changed the settings.
Go back. Yeah.
Perfect. Terminal. Okay. Cool. So let's start, guys. And today we going to say the agenda is meet like why Elastic, and we will get the overview of Elastic stacks, and at the end we will see search as you type, which has a special field type in Elastic search. So in the today's world, we already engaging with lots of apps, digital era. And lots of data is being generated in every day. When everything is tracked and there is a lots of data points is generated. So as per the reports, it will by the 2025 480 exabyte data which is going to generate every day, which is a huge. And if you want to perform a search from these contents. Okay, it's very hard, and especially the relevant search. So, and you need a search. Okay, you need a search. Right now, everything is search. Let's say you ordering the food, or you do anything, performing the root causes, and yeah, anything any app you take, there is a search is an essential part of that particular product. So that's where Elastic comes in the picture. The Elastic is the search company. So the Elasticsearch is built for a search use case. So every technology has their use cases. So you can, by using Elasticsearch, you can build any kind of the search, the cases you have. So search as you type is one of the case which we are going to see today. And before that, I will give you the quick overview of Elastic stacks. What is this? And yeah, so one of the example is Uber. If you're finding the typing these things and finding the cab is powered by Elasticsearch. They are using Elasticsearch for this to finding the cab. And pretty trending app in youth. So Tinder. So when you match this like the male, female, the relevant search, it's powered by Elasticsearch. Tinder is uses. So there is a lots of client we having food search app who is using Elasticsearch. So so how it builds? It's built off these with the help of the Elastic stacks. So in the Elastic stacks, the four major stack is Elasticsearch, Kibana, Logstash we have. So and with on this stack we have a three major solution as well: the enterprise search, observability, security. So we are not going to cover the Elastic solution. You can explore on a cloud. So which trial I have given you. You can go and explore all these three sections: search, observability, and security. So let's go quickly overview of these stacks. Elasticsearch. So Elasticsearch is a distributed search engine, data store. It gives the high availability because it's a horizontal scalable. If your data is growing, okay, and just you keep adding the server, so and it will scale. You can we have seen the use cases where people are using n number of servers and to for the scale Elasticsearch. So yeah, and in Elasticsearch, the data is being stored in JSON-based. It's a NoSQL data store. So in Elasticsearch, there is nothing like let's say a table or database, but yes, it's indexes and the charts. As I think you must have seen in the Mukaram slide, it's built top of the Lucene library of the Apache. So every index and charts is a Lucene library. So it's basically you have inserted some data. Let's say it will going to index. Okay, it index, and that's why it gives the speed. So anything you insert it will be available for a search in a real time. Let's say by 1 second. How you can perform the query? You can use the REST API. It is a totally top of built on a HTTP API. So there is no console or like of the things you getting in other databases. The Kibana is something, a tool which works on top of the Elasticsearch. So if you want to visualize the data from the Elasticsearch, you can use the Kibana, and you can create the multiple visualization and visualization graphs, dashboards, and you can just plot it and use it over there. So there is a lots of pre-configured dashboard is available. So if you are using Nginx or Apache or maybe MySQL, and you want to monitor those performance, so you can just use a file beat and enable the MySQL module, and your dashboard will be ready in a few clicks. So it's as simple as it is. So Kibana is something you can say a visualization dashboard. So I'll give you the how it looks like in a demo. Beats. So Beats is a lightweight data shipper. So it's like an agent. So if you want to, like in Elastic APM, I think Vivek will explain. Like if you want to perform monitoring something, so you have to download the beats. We have a lots of beats: file beat, MySQL beats, and packet beat. Like packet beat, it monitoring the networking in out call like this. So we have a system beats also, which keep monitoring the system, like kernels and the system logs, etc. So a log stash is something is like ETL. You can just like give the input and give output. You can perform data transformation, data modulation in that between this. So this is a broader view of Elastic Stack. And now let's jump on a search as you type. What is this? And let's go. So yes, you must have seen this. We used to do in daily life. If you want to order something, paneer kadhai, chicken, whatever you want, so we just type, and it's give the suggestions. You can see like this. The similarly on a book my show, if you type anything, it will give the suggestion. Okay, this is something we want to achieve, and it can be achieved by Elasticsearch, but it comes with the one question. Why to use Elasticsearch to achieve this when I already have a solutions? Okay, so if you are using MySQL and other databases, or they having these kind of the solutions, you can do a like, regex, and wildcards. Okay, so people can make by using like query like this and performing multiple like on multiple columns. They can perform a wildcards, or they can perform a regex by doing a pattern matching. So it can be achieved, right? But it has a disadvantage. Okay, because it is a very costly. Okay, and the another thing is it's not very fast. Okay, it will get slow, this kind of the queries, regex and wildcards, and sometimes it can be block other queries as well in other databases or these things. So it could be risky, right? It could be risky. Risk hai bhaiya, theek hai. And so that's why Elasticsearch comes in the picture. And in Elasticsearch, why it's a speed? Because it's already indexed your data. Okay, so your data is already ready for perform search or these things in very speed. Relevance, of course, Elasticsearch gives you the relevance search. As I said in the Tinder, if you want to search swipe left, swipe right, it gives the relevance suggestions. And Elasticsearch having a special field type, search as you type. So when you define the schema or mapping in Elasticsearch, you can define this field. It need to be not integer, not string, but search as you type. And according to this, Elasticsearch will store your data. So I'll give you the quick overview. Search as you type. Okay, it's a create a series of subfields. So and creates a lot of token and filters. So I'll give you the how Elasticsearch works. So I have given the string. My name is Ashish. So Elasticsearch is going to break all the words in a token, all the words in the filters, like my name is Ashish. So it's going to divide into 4 words. So you can achieve this by using different kind of analyzer and tokenizer kind of things. It gives the prefix and infix search. So prefix search, we can say it's like Google. When you start typing it, it's give the prefix search. Infix search, you can search any between in content. Let's say you want to find any keyword in a whole block. So yes, you can use this kind of the search as you type. So okay, let's go to the quick demo, and I'll try to give you the. Okay, I think it's so I have written one blog. You can always prefer those, prefer that, and you can just have a look how it works. And when we have a very good documentation on this. So I'm going to quickly start my Elasticsearch instance. So just allow me. Take some time. Okay, it's on. So this is a Kibana. Okay, this is a Kibana, and you can do the queries. You can perform the various kind of the operation by using Kibana. And there is a lot dashboards. There is this section is available: dashboards, observability, security. It's provide the different dashboard for a different kind of modules. So like if you're using APM, so just go to here, set up your agents with your machines, and your dashboard will be ready here in a Kibana. So we are going to use here dev tools, which is specially built for to performing multiple types of queries. So let's say I already perform this. Let's say I want to check how many indexes I have. Okay. Okay, cat. Okay, this is the index is present right now. So let me quickly create one so that we can store some sample data in that index. So I'll just delete the previous one. Let's say Sage. This is a delete query. I'm deleting the indexes so that I can show you from the start. Yeah. So if you want to create an index, let's quickly create the index. I'm just copying this query. And here the products.
What is that you're using?
Sorry.
What language are you using?
This is the REST API. Yeah. So it's font. Okay, I think. Perfect. So yes.
So the index you have set up, is it on SQL DB or no SQL DB?
So this is on Elasticsearch. So
I want to understand how is it like, is it SQL or non-SQL?
it is a NoSQL. I'll let you know. Let's insert some data. I'll show you. Okay. Let's say I'm putting Meetup. Okay. Yeah, and just let me insert some data. I think it should be known. Oh, sorry. So indexing data is let me check confirm. So you can always reach to Elasticsearch documentation. So just go to index API. So you want to know like how it looks like the data when we insert it, right?
Yeah, so basically, as far as I've understood, as of now, Elastic provides a solution to store the data as well, and on that itself, you can define the indexes and then it will search based on that.
Correct.
Okay. So imagine if we already have an existing data, an existing NoSQL DB or an SQL DB.
Got it.
And I want to add an Elastic layer on top of it, saying that I want to leverage the advantages of Elastic on the existing DB.
So you have to insert the whole data in the Elasticsearch. Yeah. Yes. So we have a different connector already available for a MySQL or any databases. You can go and check which fits for you, and you can use it and you can transform the whole data into the Elasticsearch.
And then I'll be responsible for the sync between my original.
Yeah. Yes. So we having those automatic connectors as well. You can try and yes. So yeah. So I'll just give you the quick overview. Okay. I think it's a good to go, or do I should we move forward, guys? Yeah. Any idea? Okay. Cool. So I'll just quickly. So I'm making a one index. Okay, and in index I have one field description, and I'm giving the type is a search as you type. This is a special field type. Okay, it's like we giving the string keywords or an integer. So it is something like this, search as you type. So I'm just going to create this. Okay, it's been created. Just let's quickly check, quickly import some data. Yeah, so it's inserted, and now I'm going to search products. Search. Okay, my data is here. The description: best jogging shoes for men. So what happens? This is the behind the scene. Okay, so Elastic has taken the data and it's created multiple tokens and filters. Okay, so how it works? So when you give the type search as you type, it store the data on 4 subfields. Okay, the first, let's say we have given the description, so it will create the description with the standard analyzer. Okay, and standard analyzer, what it's going to do, it's going to break in this filter, these tokens. So best, jogging, shoes for men, this kind of the 5 token has been created. And there is a second subfield which is called the description.2 gram. It is a single token filter. So single token filter is basically it's create the token with the pair of 2. So the token has been created like a best jogging shoes for men kind of things. The similarly the 3 gram also there, and in the fourth subfield, it is like edge n gram. So edge n gram is like be best j, like this. The tokens has been created in the Elasticsearch. So Elasticsearch has break this line into these tokens. Now when you going to search with any keyword, let's say I want to start searching like jogging, so it's going to find among across this all kind of tokens which it's created. And that's why it's a fast, it's always doing the indexing of this, and it's always breaks your content in the lots of tokens. So let me perform some search over this. I'll do the multi-match. Okay, so if this is how we can do search. So whenever you want to perform a search with the specific search as your file type field, you can just give the name of field like this. So this is coming. Now I'm just going to do like this. So this is not, because on these fields there is a no keyword with the name of jog. So let's go here. So I cannot see there is a keyword like this jog. Here is a jogging, here is a jogging shoes, this is a 2 pair, here is a jogging shoes for. But on the fourth field we have those index prefix. So let's try to search with that. So to perform the prefix search, we need to use the bool prefix. And here I will give you the jog. Okay, jog query, and it should search now. So it's the search is totally based on your what is your providing, and it's going to match with the token whether it's matching or not. Now we will quickly upload one sample data, and I have created one demo. We'll quickly create some 1,000 records on Elasticsearch, and we will implement this. Okay, so for a demo, I have written one Python small script. This script already available on my this URL. You can on the Git. This demo is available. You can explore anyhow. So I have already installed this, Flask and Elasticsearch. So I'm just going to clone this. Let me delete this. Okay. It's loading.
One question on
Yeah.
the typos, right? Like
Yes.
if you're instead of paneer, right?
Uh-huh.
You make a typo. So are you saying for the typo also there'll be an index done and kept?
Typo has
In the
been.
sense you're typing paneer.
Hmm.
Even if you replace A with O, right? Even if it's
Yeah. So there is a different analyzer for this. You can just apply for typo error, and it will give the suggestion. Like, did you mean type?
Yeah.
You are saying yes, it's in there. The name is just let me know. Let me check. The analyzer name I'm not reminding. I'll just give it to you. But it's there. So if it's a misspell, or you have entered the wrong spelling, it will give the desired output. So cool. I'm here. So here it's a small API Python script. I have built one API which will create a one web server and take the request, and it will take a request from the front end and perform the query on Elasticsearch. This query is the same which we have seen. Okay. So first, let me give you the let's create the index first. You will get the idea. So I'm going to create this index. In this index, we have 5 types of field: first name, last name, street address, company, email, and to all field I have given the same type, search as you type. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So I'm going here, want to create index first. So index name will be search as you type. It's a short version I have put in. So it's created. Now I'm going to import some data. So this is a curl query, bulk query. By using this, you can just import your JSON or data directly to the Elasticsearch. So I'm just going to use this. When you're cloning this repo, I have given some sample file as well, which you can check here. These are the sample file you can just quickly upload. So I'm just straight away copy this and upload it. Yeah. So data has been uploaded on the SAYT indexes. So let's search from this. Okay, so data is here. Now, on the top of the data, let's have a front end look. I have built one front end look as well. Index.html. I'll just open this index.html in a browser. Let me go. I think tool or Elastic demo. I think I have Bangalore Meetup. Yeah, so this is a front end I have already built by using Bootstrap. So what I'm going to just type something. Let's say, oh, it's not working. Just a minute. We need to start our server. You can just have a Python 3. Yeah, so it start coming. So this data is coming from that index which we have uploaded, on which we have uploaded the sample data. So let's say I want to search anything like mail, kind of. Just a minute. I think, like we can do search anything like let's say a mail. Here the thing is male, female, name, and the IP kind of thing. So I can search with the any keyword, and is going to search in the content irrespective of order. So I can search plaza, I can search male or female at the same time. So, and it will going to perform the search for all these 3 keywords. Okay, so this is how you can something achieve with your project as well. So yeah, so this is something you just create and it will get the record. So this is just demo. It was performing the network call. Let me show you. It was just Ajax one, nothing major. So whatever keyword I'm giving here, it's going to this API, which is a Python one, and the Python is query to the Elasticsearch, and it's getting the data and I'm displaying here. So yeah, it is a quick demo, and let's get back to our slide. Okay, so yeah, I have explained the search as you type. It's a bit clear. So if you have any doubts about anything Elasticsearch, just this is a forum I already told you, and yeah, that's it from my side. So any questions, I'm open. If you have any doubts, yeah.
Does it search in the you search by does it search custom or
Sorry, I just yeah, just not audible.
So when you
No.
when you search for a particular so is there any way we can influence what shows in at the top? So for example, something is being searched very often, so we want that particular value to be shown at the top. So is there any way we can influence
100 top. Yes, yes, yes.
Is it just first come first served, like it goes through the database and then sees this value is matching and is at the top of the database and then recognize that value.
So you are saying the top 10 result like search engine shows the ranking. So we have the Elasticsearch have a concept of boost. So it also gives the relevance result with the help of the term frequency. It analyze how what kind of keyword is coming, and accordingly what we can say, it adjusts the ranking. So whether this record should show first or last, it does automatically. So there is a boosting concept which I think it's handled by Elasticsearch only, but you can boost by yourself if you want to rank particular document on the first. So you can do manually. There is a provision. So any question in the chat, Mukaram? Yeah, please.
Is there a way to like basically when you're sorted the yeah? So is there a way to sort the queries which are making to the database when we are like for example a user is searching? So like do I have is there only one way that we have to sort that query from the client side or from the like database side also like we can have a period like okay, the user has this search term is only this much away from the last one, so we pass the same.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. If I didn't get the question.
So basically, like for example, if like a user has typed something, and then like they just like modify the characters around like only one or two characters.
Correct.
So like on that also like you make a fresh query or like is there a way to basically?
No. Let me give it. Here, if I type the circle and then I type a male or female, okay. So the query I have forward to the Elasticsearch as it is. Elasticsearch perform the filterization. He like Elasticsearch breaks this keywords also in a terms like is perform the 3 different queries for circle, male, female. That for each terms. So it's depend how Elasticsearch creating the terms. So it's create basis on what kind of the analyzer you are giving. So there is the multiple analyzer available like standard, lowercase analyzer, English analyzer, language specific analyzer. So whatever the analyzer you have applied, it is going to create the terms accordingly, and then over the top it will search accordingly. So like this. So any other question? Yeah.
How customizable is the Elastic? The Kibana dashboard is built on top of the Elastic.
Yeah.
Right? Is it customizable? Like I can choose to the Kibana dashboard. Is it how customizable is it? Like say if I want to my company like deals with the customers' images and so on. Can I create like a sub-menus just for them?
So you can create a dashboard and pie charts, these kind of things, and we having the option. It will give you the link for the embedding, and you can just put in your product, and it will directly show the dashboard on your product as well. So it's not a customized. I'm not getting, but you can create. You can just import your data in Elastic and you can create the charts, the dashboard you want, like this.
One other thing, Elasticsearch, right? You integrated it using a API using Python. Right? Is there any way in which I can directly integrate my front end, say React with Elasticsearch without any APIs?
Okay, so while connecting with the Elasticsearch, this was I built on local, so I directly connected with the URL. So because of the security reason, you have to go via some middleware where you are going to send the certificate and this kind of the things where you are going to give the user roles authentication like this. So for this, I think you will need a middleware, right? So it's not possible to, if it's possible to like from directly front end to this. I have not seen this case, but I think it's good to have a middleware where you can.
Is there a way to do it directly? I can post Elasticsearch, install the Wordpress certificates, have a direct integration.
Like if you say, let's say if I'm going to write a JavaScript from the front end and directly, so I would say no, I wouldn't recommend, but you can try anyway. The middleware is you can do the, you can add the certificate and these kind of things. Elastic have a security, so I have not shown here. You can create a different users roles like this, which you need some middleware to handle those. So that's why. Yeah, I think if it is in premises by secure with the firewalls and everything, I think you can do experiments. Not
On the network, it's the same.
yeah, on the network, Elasticsearch comes with their its security package XPack, and now by version 8, it's coming. The by default it's come with the security enable. So yeah. Thanks. Yes, sir.
How is it sensitive data?
Sorry.
Sensitive data like password.
Sensitive data. So so when you install the Elastic stacks, every stack like Kibana, Elasticsearch generate the certificate, HTTPS certificate, and it's totally encrypted. So that's why it's always recommend to install Elastic Stack with the proper TLS security like this. So every network call will be, of course, it will be encrypted. Yes, sir.
As you mentioned that we will, like, let's say a big company like Amazon or something. So we can't directly have Elastic on the DB. We need to re-import it into the Elastic store. But let's say in a company like banking or something where the data is highly volatile, like multiple loads of data is going in and out every day. In that case, what do we do? Because the Elastic and the original DB will not be in sync.
Right.
So in that case, if I want to leverage, like I want to search all transactions by a particular customer or something. So in that case, what do we do? What's the middle ground there?
So in such case, I would recommend, like, this is what I have seen. So if you have a very heavy writes going on in a current live, so what I have seen people use different another pipe like Apache or Redis or something where they open another pipeline for Elasticsearch and they start harvesting data in the both databases. Okay, and some of I have seen if delay is okay with your product for a search and they are like your client is not going to search real time, they will search tomorrow like this. So you can create a concept like a hot and cold kind of concept. So for the cold you can use Elasticsearch definitely, so you will get the window. Yeah.
So basically, the way I have used it in the past is in the same scenarios. Is you can build rapidly and you run a cron job where you are syncing Elastic with the data, with the connectors which
Perfect.
you have. And it's not necessarily you push everything which is there in your database into Elastic. Only those things which you want, where people want to search. So, for example, when I was in Blackboard, we were only searching for mail process. we want only warehouses to be faster. So
Correct.
we want to search the right warehouse in the city. We want those list of warehouses in that city or something like that. So if you want to do that, you push only those data. And you wanted to, whenever there is a new warehouse gets added, I want to push the data to Elastic. So there is a cron job which is always running on that. There's a habitat queue which is better because it makes sure that it gets updated.
Right.
So that's how I use it.
So just adding this, like in last to last organization, I got the same problem. We had a very heavy write on MySQLs and these things, and we have to introduce the Elasticsearch, and we cannot stop everything, right? So there was a one queuing system, Redis we were using for the queuing, and so we have simply start replicate our events data with started pushing the data in the two queues. So Q1 for Elastic and Q2 for MySQL. So both data was going. So I think you can do experiments. Like it's depend on case to case, right? So yes, any other questions? Okay, I think yeah, Vivek, please, stage is yours. Thank you, guys.
There were a bit of conversations which we had on Elastic APM and a couple of things, we discussed on Elastic and other things. So today I actually plan to do a session on Elastic APM for Java Spring Boot app and specifically on Spring Cloud. How many of you know Spring framework? Java Spring framework? Doesn't matter. It's okay. I mean, if you don't know, it doesn't matter. It's just a framework. It's just a Java code, a simple code. Amazing language, amazing framework for building your microservice applications. So that's the most important thing. If you want to build a microservice applications, you would choose something like this as a framework. So that's what it is. So first question is what's Elastic? So yeah, you are all here. People who are there, online. There was one full session for that. So now what is Elastic? Let's keep it interactive. This is a meetup, not a classroom. Okay. Database. Is it correct, Ashish? Somehow, somehow it is correct. Elastic developers, they feel, different when when you say it is a database. It's, they don't want to call it as a database, right?
So it's we used to call search engine.
Search.
And we used to get the question, can we use as a primary storage before few years? And the debate was going on the database versus search engine. So right now, yeah, you can use as a database as well, and it's a search engine. The search engine is the primary case.
Yeah, perfect. So that is what they call. Okay. So whenever somebody asks you what is Elastic, you have to say it is a search engine, not a database. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So before I go there, before I deep dive into a lot of questions, and I'll be asking you a lot of questions. I just want to introduce myself. That's me. I'm senior cloud advocate, part of cloud and AI engineering team. Um, Software developer at IBM for almost 9 years. I was there. Was into Java, Python, everything, and then DevOps solution architect, head of DevOps at Blackberg. That's where I used extensively the Elastic. Elastic was primarily used in various formats for search, for the building the ELK stack to monitor stuff, to get logs and all those stuff. So I used Elastic there. That's where I fell in love with Elastic, by the way. So Elastic is my favorite tool, by the way. So that is the reason why I keep delivering talks on Elastic. So that's something which I do. But somehow, been a lot of years where I've spent hands-on Elastic. So that's my. But either ways, it is my favorite tool. So being a co-founder, being part of DigitalOcean, being part of Microsoft from strategy and investments, and also currently as cloud and AI engineering. And I'm a technophile. What is technophile is? No. Okay, technophile is a person who loves technology and tries new things, and every day he tries something new. And that's what I was trying 14, 15 days back when Ashish reached out, and I said, okay, and even before he reached out, I actually reached out to him and said, hey, I know I was trying something, and I want to do a talk on this. Okay, so that's that. I mean, that's what a technophile is, right? So it keeps trying something new and it keeps failing. I'll tell you why. I'll show my demo spelling. Okay, so that is one thing. Anyways, so today I'm going to talk about the observability, right? So APM is what observability is, and often people confuse APM with performance management tools, right? And there is like the Agers or any which is specific to doing tracing and other things, but often people not think about the whole thing it provides you. And observability is can be broadly divided into four. How many of you are DevOps background? I know there are a couple of them are here, DevOps background, couple of them are developers, couple of them are students. So just want to give you an overview of this. You have an application. Okay, you have some kind of application which you're running, maybe an app, maybe some e-commerce site, Flipkart or whatever it is running, right? But at the back end, somebody has to keep looking into the health of this application, and that is what observability is. And it gives you a whole view. Okay, it provides you a complete view of your application. So there are four different categories where you will debug things. Okay, and these categories are nothing but tracing. So I'll come to tracing later, which is complicated. We'll go there later. The first thing is logging. You know about logging, right? So it's a simple, as a developer, you always make sure that you log something, even though you don't like it, but you do it. From a, if you are in a corporate world, they will give you a format where this is how you have to do it. As a developer, this is how you have to go for it, and this is how you have to, build applications, right? These are, and then you get caught in your reviews, code reviews, right? If you're not doing it, your code review will fail, right? So that's something which is always there. So logging is important from a developer perspective, and also from a DevOps engineer perspective, and also a person who is looking into all of this, which is SRE, who is looking into most of these things perspective, right? So there's an application, and there is a developer who is instrumenting the log in the code, and then it is getting logged, and somewhere it has to be logged, right? And there is a place where it gets logged, and there has to be a place where we can see the logs and other things. That's where Elastic comes into picture. So there is bunch of machines, there is bunch of things which you're running, which is containers, or bunch of things you're running with Kubernetes. So you want to send those logs to one single place, one central place. That's where Elastic comes in. So you can see that at one place, right? So that is what it does. And metrics is basically kind of a telemetry. It's basically your rates, the latencies, the response time, all of these things is captured as part of the metrics. Okay, and health is very important. If how many of you know Kubernetes? Okay, so in Kubernetes, you can, you know about two different probes, which is there, right? It shows whether a pod is available for you to, send requests for, or whether it is running or not. All of these things are very important. Even from a non-Kubernetes, non-cloud native tool sets, you have VMs, you have different places where your applications are running, and you want to make sure your VM health is good, right? So all of these things is captured through health endpoints. So health endpoints is basically nothing but in a microservice applications, there are endpoints. There is a simple API which is there, and you are trying to see is this is up and running, it is fine, how is the health of this and all those things. So if an API is failing, then you will know there is API failure is happening, right? And then there is distributed tracing, which is my favorite. Now, in a microservice application, this is my favorite part, which is distributed tracing. Because, if you see this diagram as well, the diagram speaks a lot about it. A trace is basically a request. There's only one request out there, but it is talking to multiple different services. Okay, and there could be different services, which if you're going for Book My Show, you can see that there is PVR cinemas, and they also book on Inox and everywhere, right? This Book My Show is talking to different services as well. So it could be different services, and you want to know what is the performance of this service and what is the handshake happening, what is the in what context this particular request is talking to the other service. All of these things can be traced. Okay, there is a context, there is a lot of things. Everything comes in the distributed tracing. So I'll not go deep dive into all of these things because this is what APM covers. Okay, the Elastic APM covers all of these things. Whenever you inject or instrument APM into into your application, this is what it does. Okay, so let me stop slides. Oops. Okay, I did different stuff. Just give me a minute. Okay, I don't have any much slides because I have. So what I'm going to do is basically we're going to deploy a Spring app, which is a framework, which is a simple Java framework. And then what we're going to do is a couple of things and basically deploy it onto the Azure Spring Cloud and make sure that we apply Elastic APM on top of that. That's it. It's a simple demo. And it is very new as well. It is something, if I have to show you the date of update of this particular article is 0506. Which is like how many days, like 10-15 days back, right? They have updated it. Okay, so a couple of things which is new for this. Anyways, I'll show you this how you can get started with Spring application. Okay, so there is start.spring.io website. So if you go there, I'll just show you the. So can you see this? Okay, so if you see this, there is project and you can choose different projects, and then you can choose the language you're going to use, and obviously Spring Boot version which you are looking at, and obviously names you'll give. This is all Java related, and then packaging, how you want to do it. I want to package it as jar and with Java version, and what are the dependencies you want. You want to build a API, you want a configure client and something which is to configure the Spring Cloud, and a couple of other things which is to build the REST based services and other things. And you can add bunch of dependencies as well even before you start the Spring application. So if you are from a Java world, right, there are bunch of dependencies which you can add, right? And if you use this, add dependencies, and you can see there's bunch of dependencies which is there. Okay, so what I have done is I have generated this code, right? So I picked, I picked the right set of Spring app, and I've just taken that and I've generated the right set of code, and I've been using it. So what I've done is very simple. So once this is downloaded, there is a, there is a code which we need to change. So I'll go to code. Where is my code? Here is the code. Can you see the code? You can see the code. So this is a code which is there, right? So basically this is very simple. It is doing whenever you go to slash, it just sends a message. That's it. So it's a simple API. You can actually build this APIs into multiple things. Okay, how to build this, how to use this in an API situation is basically you can just say here is message, um, and you can create code here, write code, and then just save it, and you have an API which is running. So that's the most simplest thing. And greetings from. Let's change this. Okay. Good. So I just changed some code. Okay, I have the code ready. So all I have done is taken this code and deployed it. So basically, it's easy to deploy. You just have to create a Spring Cloud in Azure. So when you go into the Azure, if you type Spring app, so you just go and create a new Spring app, and just you get the app up and running. This is not the app basically. This is the Spring Cloud instance. Okay, so in this Spring Cloud instance, I am not going deep into this because this is just a to deploy things there. Okay, it is just to deploy stuff. So this is basically a simple Azure Spring app where I have created it, and under that there is something called as apps, where you can go and deploy your apps. So you can just go and deploy your any app there. So we will deploy one which we have, so that we will see how we will do it. So we have this Azure Spring Cloud, everything is up and running, and we have the account set and everything. I will not go in depth. So only thing which we have done is now is change the code, right? So we did go here and change the code, and once we have changed the code, what we will do, we will go and deploy it. So how do we deploy stuff? Anyone from Java? Can you see the? You can see, right? Commands. Okay. So usually in Java, it's all about pom.xml, right? So once you have configured your pom.xml, it's easy to run. And when I showed you those dependencies and other things, when when we zipped that and packaged it, right, while in the spring.io, start.spring.io, what happens is you'll just get a simple zip file like this, hello spring.zip. Okay, all dependencies already part of your POM file. So nothing to design something new, start from scratch and all those stuff. So everything is already built. So you just have to go there and get started. So I'm just going back to this code, and hopefully this will run. Or I did this, I didn't copy the orders. Okay, we'll do maybe clean. Okay. So I already have built it, so I'm just trying to build again. So since I changed the code, I'm building it again. Okay, so it will take some time to build. The reason why I've already created those Azure Cloud, Spring Cloud, and all those things is because it's going to take time. So I don't want to waste time. Being a last speaker, it is bad, right? Cool. And I have it built. Now I'll go to the target. This is where you will see, no, the jar has been created. So you see this time, this is where the jar is ready, right? Now jar is ready. I just want to deploy this jar. Okay. So what we will do is, if you see, I have already deployed this. If you see this, right, you can see that there's an app being built and it has been deployed already. And you can see what it is showing also. This was the previous comment which we had. And what we are doing now is we are redeploying it. But while redeploying it, there are two things you have to do. I just showed you how you can create this Spring app, right? It is the main instance. But for you to deploy an app onto this cloud, you have to do two steps. One is to create the app and then deploy your app. Okay, so you can see here there is a create app here. You can go and create a new app if you want to, and it's easy. It's just give all the information here and just click on create. It gets created, or you can do it via like me, a person who loves CLI, AZ Spring Cloud app create. Why it is not taking? Why is it one? Okay, is the Spring Cloud. So you can see the command. It is a create command. So I need to create this, and to create this is very simple. It's the name of the app. It's the instance of the Spring Cloud, which is Wikibyte, which is my instance which I have, and it is a AZ Spring Cloud app, which is also a CLI command for doing it. And then there is resource group, and then there we have endpoint, which is true because I want to access this app access outside, right? I don't want to make it private, otherwise I will not be able to show demo. So I want to make sure that it is not private, right? So I've already done this. I've already created it. So not we don't need that. So we need to deploy. So deploy is where we are doing now. Again, I'm deploying it. So I want to deploy it again because I made changes to the code. I built the code as well as a jar, and I want to make sure that I want to run this again. So this is where you'll go back and deploy it, and we will try and deploy. Hopefully it gets deployed because I'm having troubles today. Demo gods are really not really helping me. So from morning I'm trying to do a lot of stuff. So let's hope it will get deployed. Okay. Until then, if you have any questions, you can ask me. It will take some time because it's using network. Yeah.
How is Spring Cloud different from other Azure apps? Seems very similar. Really exploring, but what are the main differences using Spring Cloud versus other Azure platforms?
So the question here is what is the difference between this is for the online audience. I'm just repeating the question for them. The question here is what is the difference between the Azure Spring Cloud and what are the other PaaS offers which we have, which is like could be for app service or container apps or something else. That's what you mean, right? Okay, so Spring Cloud is specifically for Spring Boot applications. That is one. The most important thing is, um, off the shelf, you get all of these service mapping and all of these things, which is like distributed tracing, application view, and how these service discovery and other things happen, right? So all of these things are available with you on the dashboard, and you can see that interactions. And that is something which is off the shelf, right? And also, you can deploy it with your own required what do you call that the resources, basically the compute. So you can deploy it with specific computes. So you don't need to be you don't need all of these. If you do go back and deploy all of these things on your own, it will take a lot of effort and a lot of time. And if you see now, it was just some commands which I ran, right? So if I have a microservice application, if I had packaged it as Spring App and the couple of jars which is available out there, and I just need to run a couple of commands and it is up and running for me. And that is with all of these new things which is on top of that, where you can go back and see the complete Spring Cloud working. So that is the difference, because you can use different things, different containers. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't get you.
reliability and take care of reliability and basically.
Yeah, that is what. So all of these things comes with the cloud which we provide, right? So there is reliability and performance and everything because you are choosing the right set of pricing tier and all those things, right? So you choose that what you want and comes with support and other things. So there is a difference. And if you want to do it on your own, it is quite a milestone. So that is the difference, right? So it's based on like your how you want to use it, how you want to use the service. So that's the thing.
So you created an app there. So if I have multiple microservices, they will all go there as an app. And how will they communicate?
That is what it provides. Service discoveries, yeah, yeah. And you can basically, obviously, you will have to build a code on top of it, but there is a way to see the services talking to each other and application mapping. Even the APM provides you that. I'll show you. Even APM actually provides you the service mapping and rest of the other things, which I told, right? The observability specific stuff, tracing and all those things. But Spring Cloud, it also provides you on top of that. It also provides you the scalability, performance, and other things which he mentioned, right? And with the infrastructure for you to run it.
And creation for it.
Yes. Yeah. No, not EBF. It's not EBF. But tracing, it does this specifically since you have applications built with the Spring Cloud and added these frameworks into the framework and use the cloud, on the fly it gives you all of these things. So that is the thing. But instrumentation of, if you are using Kubernetes and other things, then it is a different. Because for that you will have to go back and use something like dappers or something for non-instrumenting of your tracing and other things. If you're looking at instrumenting, uh, you know, if you're looking at tracing as a specific thing and you don't want to instrument, I think dappers will help you. Yeah.
So when you want to deploy next version, you have to run it again, or is there where you can connect to Artifactory and currently have next version?
Which one? The app's next version or? I mean, it is. This was my next version. First version had some other code, and I just changed the code and deployed it again. So it's in Java, right? You have to build it, and once you build it, build the jar, you have to push the jar, and the process has not changed. So, huh? Yeah, you can build a pipeline, obviously. I mean, that is a different thing. It's like a production. If you have, the moment you push the code, it gets built and the artifacts goes into the storage, and then from storage it gets picked and it gets deployed and all those things. And you can use it as a command line as well when you can give the artifacts path and all those things. So all of those things are CI/CD, discussions. But this is this is an example of um, basically how you can push the code to Azure Spring Cloud and what you can do from a if you have changed the code, how it is going. So that's what I have just showed you. It is just a simple Spring framework, and right now it is there on the cloud. It's available. I haven't done any instrumentation of Elastic yet, right? So I'll go there now, but that is what now is. So we have this code, we have it is running, and everything is running fine. Now we will have to instrument APM to get the complete view of observability on this particular app. How will you do it, right? So specifically, um, there is a good article, amazing article for this. And there is a very good example called Pet Shop as well, which is a microservice application. And you can use that for testing this all of these things. all I have done is basically we have created the app, right? We did see that, right? We did use this command to create an application, and we don't need storage, but you can still go and use storage. But I'll show you why this storage has been given here. This is Azure Storage, okay? The file storage, why they have mentioned in the this whole doc. It is basically to manage the manage your agents. Basically, the agent you have, you need to add that agent. So APM works with agents. Okay, so there is client and there is server. Elastic server is there, and you have application, and these applications have agents, and you're taking that agent, and agent is pushing data. That's all. So it's a simple client server architecture. There is no difference in that. Okay, cool. So there is if there are ways to deploy Elastic as well. If you are deploying it through Azure, you can go to Azure portal and type in Elastic search, and you can just click on that button and do it like this. You go here, type Elastic, you have Elastic Cloud, just click on that and go and deploy, create Elasticsearch, and you will be able to deploy it. That is one way to do it. Okay. The other way to do it is to just directly go to the Elastic Cloud and go and deploy your Elastic instance cluster, in fact, there with Azure or any cloud you are familiar with, right? So you can use anything. So that's what it is, and this is what he was also showing, right? This is the cloud basically. So I have deployed it directly on their cloud, and from there I've used Azure to deploy it. So I'm not using the Azure Elastic deployment there. So this is directly on the Elastic cloud, and reason behind it is because I had run out of my trial version. So that is the reason. So this is how I have deployed it. So this is just an instance. Okay, there is, if you go here and click on APM. So I've already instrumented. I'll show you how to instrument, but I'll before instrumenting, if you go to the observability, there are a bunch of things it does, right? He talked about it, right? So basically, it is in search. It also provides you an observability. It also provides security related to data and other things. And there is bunch of things it does in analytics. Okay. And I was listening to some question here whether we can build UI based on your images and other things, right? You can do it. It's like Kibana. You can use it for a lot of stuff. If you go through their website and if you go through their use cases and other things, you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, so that is what Elastic is, and specifically from an observability perspective, it does a couple of things. That's what we discussed. We discussed logs, right? We discussed logs. You can see here there is logs, right? So you can connect logs and stream logs into this. You have an application, Spring application. You can connect it here, and then you can connect metrics. Metrics I did talk about the response time and rate at which throughput is right, rate at which these responses are coming, and all of these latencies and all of these things you are sharing there. And APM has a trace and dependencies and service map, which I talked about, right? There are different services, how each services is mapped to each other. That is what you're going to see. And there is dependencies, there is trace we discussed, how you can build the trace and other things. And a couple of other things which you can do is the certificates, which is for the security and other things which you will be building it for. But when I say services, it will give you a list of services which is attached to this, right? For the APM, for you to monitor it, right? So you have a service and you enable the APM on that service. This is our service, right? This is our service. Understand this is an API. Basically, when I hit a slash, this is what I'm getting. So this is our service. And for on top of this, if I go and apply APM and connect it to my Elastic Cloud, and if you go to the Elastic Cloud, what you will see. Anybody? This one, which is the service which will get listed here. Okay, I'll show you how to instrument it, but this is how it was getting listed here. Okay, and once it is listed here, you can go back and see what is the data and other things, because it is pulling all the data from the agent. So simple architecture, client, that is your service which is running. You instrument this client to have, to send data through the agents, and the agent sends the data to the cloud, which is Elastic Cloud, and Elastic Cloud is, building a lot of stuff. You know what's the good thing about APM here is? Anyone? Do you see anything specifically on this on the screen? Anything? Yeah, good one. Yeah, the anomaly detection. I mean, I'm surprised to see that, because I talked about it way back in 2016 or 17 in one of the conference where I was using the Elastic watches, and I talked about how you can build, um, how you can build, plan your, solving some of the issues which you get automatically without even human intervention, and how we can solve these problems. I was doing that demo and on watches. I was using Elastic watches at that time, but today they have it as a separate thing there, which is to identify some of the issues and and fix it. It is basically auto remediation, right? So SRE is not required. It will detect a couple of things. I don't mean SRE is not required. I meant, a couple of issues you can automate it. It can be fixed. Okay, so that is what it does. And obviously alerts and rules and other things which you can build. Alerts are basically not every, you don't know when what is alert, right? Basically, if there is traffic coming in, this is normal traffic, it's not an alert, right? But if there is some changes in the traffic, you want to get an alert, and you want to make sure that you go back and see what is happening on your systems, how is the latency, how is the performance and everything, and then fix a couple of things and catch rid of developers on Saturdays and make sure you get them to fix it by Monday. That's what it does, right? That is what we use this tool for. I was, as a DevOps engineer, I did use it for that. Okay. So by the way, let's come back. How to instrument this? Okay, let's come back to instrumenting it. So we all know, right? We have this, whole thing we are using, but most importantly, we need to have a agent, right? So Maven, for Java, there is an agent available. So you can see here. Are you able to see this agent? So there is, if you go to Maven Central repository, there is agent available. You just need to download it and instrument it. That's all. So it's very easy to do it. You just go to that Maven Central and search for the agent, or you can go to the Elastic website and get it, or you can go to the Elastic Cloud and Elastic Cloud has become so big that I've been able to navigate is becoming very difficult every time they release a new version. Okay, so there is somewhere you can click and get the agent here, right? In cloud. Okay, I've done that. I installed it through the Elastic Cloud itself, and that's how I'm using it. So yeah, anyways, so basically agent is nothing but a jar package. I've just downloaded it. Okay, it is just a jar which is there, which is in Maven Central. You can also see this here. You just click on the jar now download button, and it's available for you. And once it is available, all you need is to apply this agent on your application, right? That's all. So what we will do is, this is available. All we need to do is to run this command. Okay. So this particular command which is there, if you run this command, that's what it will do. So let's see whether So there is a way to get the tokens as well. So if you go into the inventory, you can get those tokens. While you're creating that itself, it will show you the tokens, right? For me, it showed me the token right away there. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is my token? Not in my this one. Where do I get tokens? We'll figure that out. But whenever you create agent, whenever you download that jar file, it gives you the whole command what you need to run.
Yes,
It shows the whole command you need to run. Okay, that's the command I have. I'll show you. So this is a command which it shows. Okay, this is the command. So basically, it's a nothing but a Java command. But I'm not running this command. But this is what it shows you. Okay, this is not required for me. It is not a necessary thing. And all I need here is the token and the URL and the basically what I need to provide in the service name and other things. So it's basically the information which I need, which is the URL and the token. Okay, so you can also go and generate your own secret on APM. So it's on the cloud. Basically, if you go and click on navigation and navigate yourself and figure it out, you'll be able to create the token as well. So that is something which is available. So I just taken this token and everything, and I have run. Okay, let me show what I have run. AZ Spring Cloud app deploy. What did I run? What is the command? Yeah, this is the command which I have run. So the command is very simple, but it looks big. It's don't worry about it, but it's very simple to understand. All the thing which it showed me, right, while I created the agent, while I downloaded the agent, it is showing me all those information. I'm just inputting those information here. So if you see here, it is the same app deployment command of Spring Cloud. I'm deploying this app. I have the jar file. uh, when I built the code, the jar file was ready. On top of that, I'm doing this deployment, and there is artifacts. I'm the same artifact which I'm giving here, right? If you see here, the artifact is the same. Everything is the same. And here Java option, Elastic APM. So I have downloaded that Elastic APM, which in the Maven Central. If I download, it's on my laptop. I'm using it through laptop, but in a production sense and other things, you will download and keep it in some storage, and you're going to use it from some of the storage, right? So that is what it will do. And then this is the app name, which is Hello Spring, and then app application package, and Elastic APM URL and token and other things. And this is my instance of Spring Cloud. That is the same command which I am using, and my resource group name. So that is what I'm giving. So all of things are same from the previous command. It's just that I added specifically for the adding agent on top of the deployment which I'm doing for Spring. So this is a new feature which got enabled last 15 days or 20 days back. It is still in not a GA. Okay, it is still under preview, and a lot of things have been developed on top of this. But this is what I wanted to show. When you run this command, basically what happens is it goes to observability. Where's my observability? And when I search for APM service, so you can see I get Hello Spring, right? When I run this command, basically it creates a service called Hello Spring, which is the name of my Elastic Spring deployment with the Elastic agent. So now, basically I should have got all of these things, which is the latency information, throughput, transactions, which is happening, failed transaction rates, and everything, all the details on specifically for this, this setup. It's not coming. So, so I will have to go and figure it out why it's not coming. But this is how you set it up, okay? Um, and the reason why it is not coming maybe because there's a lot of changes happening there, maybe some issue, it is not throwing up here, but this is how you can get all the things like dependencies, error, service map, everything is up and running here. And this is how you can see the service maps also. There's only one service which is running, so it is showing one service. So basically what I showed you now is there was a Java app, which is a Spring framework. I took that app, I made sure it was built as a jar and deployed it to Azure Spring Cloud, which is again to host these Spring frameworks. I hosted this on Spring Framework, and then what we did is instrument the Elastic Java APM on top of this Java code. And once I have done that, it should show up all the throughput, transactions and fail rates and everything on this Elastic Cloud. So it should show all this data, and it should show up this, show all of this data on this particular cloud, right? So that is what it does. So um, this is what I wanted to cover. Basically, this how to instrument it. Um, that's it from my end. But if you have any questions, I can answer that. Yeah. Uh, redeploy the app with the APM. Yeah. So first time when you do it, there was no APM. So it was just an app on Azure Spring Cloud. Then when you run the second command with the agent, then you will see there's a redeploy. It is always push based, I believe. It is push based. I think pull based I have seen only Prometheus, but I have not seen um, any other tool. Um, it depends on different scenarios. So the Prometheus is really good at telemetry only. So it's good. It is pull. It is just pulling the data from there. Push based is basically anytime something happens, you're pushing it. You don't need to push everything, and push is obviously on large scale, right? You're doing a lot of things. So that is why you don't want to push everything. And there are many various ways to sample the data as well. Like if you think about distributed tracing, right? You don't need to push everything, right? Not every transaction is important, and you will do sampling saying that okay, I need every alternate data to alternate request to be pushed into the distributed tracing. Or you can even mention after 5 requests you send that next request to the into the distributed tracing. So there is ways you can instrument it, and when you instrument in that way, there are different tools which has different powers. So that's the whole point. Any other questions, online audience? If you're there, please let me know. Thanks for joining, by the way. It's almost like 3 hours now, and they've been online, and it's really amazing. So any questions there or here? Yeah.
So we've used it with Node.js, Java, and Golang. Any new languages
Yeah,
added?
I think there is a 6 or 7 this SDKs are available. Yes, you can indicate.
Oh, you mean APMs? The agents. Agents, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, true. There are 7 languages. 7.
That would be a problem if you have a language.
That is, I think you should have that language specific SDK, right?
Yeah. So Glowroot will do it only for Java.
Okay.
There is a similar thing for Glowroot, but it's to only Java developers.
Okay.
This is where you find agents, and this is where you find how to download agents. I found it. I'm able to navigate. Okay, so this is where you find Maven Central to download. Just click on that, and you see here, right? It gives you that command. So this is what I mentioned there. This is the command which it provides you. Um, and I've just taken the URL, the token, and other things, and I've made changes to the package name and the name of the service which I'm using, and I've just added into the Azure Spring Cloud app deployment command, and I've just instrumented it. So that's all I've done here. So here, if you see, all languages it supports. So language and also frameworks, by the way, if you see the frameworks as well. You can see there is Django framework and Flask and different framework. There's .NET. So it's not more than I think it's more than 7, right? That's good. Yeah.
We can like what's that like? So we can scale.
Scale.
Yeah.
Scale what? Like Elastic or scale?
What's that? Like how we can scale
Scale.
whole stack? Like I'm asking from Devops website. How we can scale
The Elastic cluster or the whole application as you?
whole application.
Well, that's a huge discussion. There are various ways to scale. But yeah, it depends, right? If the reason why Kubernetes came into picture was to scale. So if you're using Kubernetes in the right way, you can definitely scale. And with virtual kubelets, it's even much better as well. So there are many ways to scale. If you're not using Kubernetes, if you're in using VMs and other things, obviously scaling with VMs. And if you're using PaaS, you're scaling with PaaS. If you're scaling with Elastic as a service, so Elastic is a cluster, right? So you need to add more clusters to it and other things. So Elastic also provides Kubernetes as a thing, and you can also deploy it as a controller, and you can also scale it via Kubernetes as well. So there are different ways, and it also depends on different contexts. So we can obviously uh, talk about it after the what you are actually looking at from a scale perspective after this session. There is question in the chat. Basically, it's basically on, is Java based integration to Elastic Search happening in real world? I don't see much ingestions. Okay. As we have Kafka, Python, Logstash, there is a very less chance of Java, I guess. Correct me if I. So it doesn't depend on. So to answer to this question is, Java is definitely a programming language and people use it. And whenever people are using it, they would go back and use Elasticsearch as well. So that is depending on different company and different strategies people adopt. So that is one thing. There's one more question, by the way. So how would you compare Elastic APM to a tool like New Relic? Okay, this is interesting. I would leave it to Ashish if you want to talk about it, because it's your pitch, right?
New Relic and
Yeah, you should talk to Mukul because I am very less experienced with New Relic. But yeah,
Overall impact, I would say, because if you want everything in your own servers, right, then it would be the right use case. And you really would taking your data. That is one of the
so one of the difference which Mukund is talking about is um, you know you are going to share data with the New Relic team, so which you don't want to do it. So you want to make sure that you want to own your data. That's where you're going to use Elastic APMs.
other one would be the cost for you.
Okay, other one is cost. So cost, and basically it's cost. Basically it's cost.
Why I came back to this part, right? You have glue root in Java that can do similar things. Those things.
Yeah.
So the idea there is it will do only Java, whereas Relic can do all. Again, Elastic can do all.
See, every tool has its own advantages and disadvantages, right? So, um, the first thing you need to ask when you're using a tool is why I should not use this tool. So, instead of asking why I should be using this tool, so that will give you a better understanding of the tool. When you think about why you should not be using it, that's when you will try to see where the issues are, why I should not be using it. So that's how we go about choosing a tool, not choosing it because whenever somebody asks you in a service industry, in fact, whereas it was in HCL, they ask you the first question is which tool we need to use for solving this problem. So the moment somebody asks this question, everybody goes on Google and asks which tool I need to use. Right? That is opinionated and a lot of information comes out, and when you just reverse that and search for why I should not be using this tool, then you will get to know why you should not be using it and in which situations you should be not using this tool. So that's how you choose. Cool. I think there are no questions in the chat, so no questions here as well. So we will take a break, and I'll just thank people who have joined our online. Thank you very much for joining us. I know it's 3 hours of session. You're sitting online and watching us, so it's a round of applause for all of them who are sitting for 3 hours who are watching us online. And and by the way, it's like more than 25 people are sitting there, which is really good. And this is something which is an innovative thing which has happened after pandemic as well, right? So we are able to stream things to people who cannot be available here, and they have their own things to do, and they also want to learn from us and share with us as well. So I hope people will come back here as well. Thank you very much for coming in. um, I think thanks Elastic team for coming here as well. So I want to hand it over to you if you want to talk.
I think you already wrapped very beautifully. So thanks to Microsoft team, Vivek, and we hope we will meet more frequently because the pandemic has not over, but yeah. So the things is getting open. So we will try to start a meetup thread more frequently. So yeah, that's it from our side. Thanks Mukaram, thanks Vivek to be here, and thanks to you all to being a wonderful audience. Thank you. Thanks. So we have a swags, we have lunch as well in the cafeteria. So enjoy, and we have a stickers Elastic specific, so you can just have it